the ones that you need to have closer, and to move the ones that shouldn't be so close away. How do you build that inner circle to help you elevate to the highest heights of success? Well, I bring on that phenomenal dynamic duo who is just always blazing the trails of success. They are absolutely elite, among the best of the best. Black Diamond Ambassador, the amazing Cheryl Morley, the phenomenal, I mean, he's a coach, he's a leader, he is five-star Paul Croto. You all take it away. Thank you for all that you do, all that you all pour into us on a daily basis. If you're not a holistic health coach, successful health coach, you need to get into that whole paradigm and become one. It is part of being great. It's part of knowing your craft and honing it for you to be the best of the best. So I bring on the best of the best. Take it away, guys.
Thank you so much, Linda. And speaking of the best, we just love you. You're absolutely amazing, and we are so honored that every week, every month, you keep inviting us back. Cheryl and I always think that, like, we ain't coming back. We ain't gonna be invited back next month after that.
Yeah. Oh my God.
So
please. I'd have you 5 days if you let.
Oh, awesome. Oh, thank you so much for all you do. And this is, we're all about growing, in leadership development and not only improving ourselves, but improving other people. And that's what these daily dose calls do. So I love them every single day. That I catch them on Facebook or the recording of it. And it's just awesome what you're doing here. When the nightly dose also is just crazy awesome. I love all the growth that's happening here, and the value, not just the value you're adding, Linda, but the impact. It's the impact that makes the big difference. And we just thank you for all of that. Well, speaking of impact, we're going to talk about developing your inner circle today, Cheryl.
Yeah. Which apparently is more important than I thought. I mean, I know it was important, right? I really did know that. But then after really reading this chapter and understanding the importance of it, I can now see why my mom always used to say, it does matter who you hang out with.
Oh, yeah, it's everything.
Right?
So we're actually working out of the book, The 21 Laws of Leadership. A brand new version just came out earlier this year, a couple months ago, by John Maxwell. And we're on leadership law number 11, which, as I mentioned, is the law of the inner circle. And tell us about this law, Cheryl. What is this law of the inner circle about?
Well, it's just all about that a leader's potential is determined by those closest to him. So it really is about who you hang out with, who you surround yourself with. And those closest to you will either make you or break you. And so, and I think that that's so amazing, that, and if you think about it, that's absolutely true. Look at the people who we see as most successful. They surround themselves with others that help them become successful. And I think that the people that they surround themselves with are becoming successful also. So it's like a win-win. The whole thing is a win-win.
Absolutely, Cheryl. And there's a lot of research just came out recently about not just your inner circle, but your peer group, who you're hanging out with, like what you just said, and the effect it has on every single area of your life. I mean, we always remember back from high school or whatever, there's bad influences and good influences, and we always didn't pick the best people to hang out with, maybe. But it's critical to find the right people to not only surround yourself with, which is what Longevity Nation and what this is all about here. We're all coming together as a community, and all of us are on the same path. We all want the same things. We're all supporting each other, and that's just a beautiful thing. That's why everyone's doing so well. So I love the community that we built here, Cheryl.
Yeah, I do too. And, and sometimes it seems like when we see a successful person or we're around a successful person, we think, oh, they're so talented, or they made it on their own. They did everything by themselves, and nobody does anything great alone, right? We know that leaders do not succeed by themselves, right? And so I really want to reiterate that the potential as a leader that you have has everything to do with the people that you surround yourself with.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, like you said, Cheryl, one is too small of a number to create anything great. So What we like to do with this law, and we've taught this law a few different times, it's to me the everything, because I spend all of my time developing my inner circle. You know, always working with the people that are closest to me and developing that. And the reason why Cheryl and I do that and are so focused on it is because there's a gentleman named Jesus that had this kind of idea to do this, and it worked out like pretty good for him.
Yeah, it did. It worked. I think a little more than pretty good, Paul. I mean, right? So he surrounded himself with a group of 12 people, as we know, his 12 apostles. And, you know, each of them went out and spread the word, right? And over, you know, in small little groups. It wasn't all at one time or anything like that. But now we have over 2 billion Christians on the earth because of what they did, because of the work that they put in, because all of them came together with one vision, right? And one goal, and all worked for that one goal together.
Yeah, absolutely. And, you know, I know with our businesses, you know, there's a lot going on and we have this and that and that and that, but it's being focused on something. And the key here, though, the thing that Cheryl and I really want to drive home today, this morning, is that your entire focus needs to be on finding and developing an inner circle around you of 12 great leaders, just like Jesus did. So though I don't really believe anymore, especially now, and we've had this talk with Steve and Michelle and other top leaders, the big group thing, I don't know if it's going to work ever again. You know, and during the pandemic, Cheryl and I, we ran a couple of those beach retreats, which were referred to earlier. And those were so special, Cheryl, where you got the smaller group of 12 together. I just felt it was so powerful as opposed to having the 4,000 together.
Yeah, absolutely. I think you get to know each other better. I think you get to learn from each other on a more intimate level. And, you know, I find it so fascinating, Paul, when we talk about the 12 people that we need to surround ourselves with. I mean, that is what we need in longevity. I mean, you need 12 personally enrolled distributors to qualify for 1-star and the monthly car bonus, right? And so that is the way that we want to look at this, that's our goal. That is what we all need to be aspiring to. And the other thing too, Paul, that I want to bring up here that I think is so important is the 12 people that you surround yourself with, they will come to you, right? I mean, it's people who you will attract, the people who, because of who you are. I guess that's the way I want to say it. So you will attract the people because of the way you are or who you are. And so if you don't like who you're attracting, because I get this a lot, well, Cheryl, I don't have anyone great in my life. How do I do that? How do I attract better? And I love this because, and when I realized this, I was like, oh my gosh, you know, a few years back, that you attract who you are. So if you want better people in your group or in your circle, you have to become better. There's no other way to do it, right? So you have to have a plan. And Paul and I talk about this all the time, right? It's personal growth. That's how each of us become better. So I just wanted to bring that up, Paul, because I think it's super important that if you're not getting those people in your circle that you would like, then it's just up to each one of us to become better, to attract those people.
Yeah, got to grow yourself first. No question about it.
Yep.
And speaking of growing ourselves, one of the favorite books that Cheryl and I have read is a book called The One Thing by Gary Keller. And this is probably my favorite question of all time. So what he asks in the book, and I can save you, if you haven't read the book, I can save you a whole bunch of time because it's just one key question that he asks and that you need to know. So this is it. What's the one thing I can do such that by doing it, everything else will be easier or unnecessary? And that always gives like Cheryl and I goosebumps when we read that, because it's like, yeah, we want things to be easier or unnecessary. So he goes on in the book to say the main thing is to keep the main thing. And that's, I think, you know, we always look for ways to help people here at Longevity grow faster. And I see in a lot of the people that I'm working with, just as my team in general, it just seems like the thoughts are going kind of all over the place. And it's not that laser focus on one thing. And the main thing is to develop this inner circle of 12 people. I mean, that's the main thing. Because if you do that, now Cheryl's done that. She has more than 12 amazing leaders in her team, and she can, she lives in the best life in the world. I mean, she has total, complete freedom. She has, and it's all because of this inner circle that she's built around her of great people.
Yeah, absolutely. And I want to talk a little bit about this. So when you're choosing your inner circle, first of all, becoming aware that this is the main thing. So when I read this book and I was like, keep the main thing, the main thing. Okay, that is so dumb. I thought it was dumb because I was like, what's the main thing? Who knows what the main thing is? There's so many main things, right? Moms, we're like, well, what's the main thing? Well, it's our family, it's our kids, it's our business, it's our this, and it's like this and this and this, and it's more and more and more. So I think becoming aware of what the main thing is the most important thing, because if we can establish what the main thing is, then we can make sure that we keep that as the main thing, right? So we want to keep that as the main thing. But as you guys are choosing your inner circle, I think it's super important to just remember a couple of things. And I want to talk about one that really hit home for me. So every single person that we meet carries 2 buckets. They carry a bucket of water and a bucket of gasoline. Okay, so let's think about this for a minute. If we have an issue or a problem or an obstacle, right? Because we all have them every single day in every single part of our life, right? Well, if people in your inner circle are, and we know that they're each carrying 2 buckets, one of water and one of gasoline, what just makes sense the type of person that you want in your inner circle? What are they going to do to that obstacle or to that problem? Are they going to throw water on it? They throw water on it, then it will be put out, and just like the problem will be dealt with. You may not even have to deal with it, right? You may not even know that there is a problem. But if you have people in your inner circle or in your life even that throw gasoline on that little problem or that little fire that is burning, what happens? Right? It just gets bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger.
Yeah, absolutely, Cheryl. Cheryl and I have these in-depth conversations about various topics all the time. And this was one of them, because it really fascinates me that everyone carries 2 buckets. And what really fascinates me is how many people use the gasoline bucket. And I was really kind of stumped myself on why is that? Like, you see something bad happening and people come along and they kind of literally throw gasoline on and make it even worse than it was a second ago. And so we came to the conclusion that, and this is something we're going to be talking about night and day from here on out, is state. Where is your emotional state at? If you're in a place of anger and upset and hostility, you're going to want to throw gasoline on things, because that's just where you're coming from. But if you're coming from a place of love, joy, and peace, you're going to throw water on the problem. So you want those kind of people on your team that are problem solvers, that are not, they don't, so I'm convinced that some people think their job is to turn molehills into mountains. I mean, it's
well,
like,
and I think,
cow.
well, and I think, Paul, sometimes, what I found too is that people want to make a problem worse so that they can come in and fix the problem.
Yep,
right. And so then you're like, oh my gosh, thank you so much for fixing that huge problem, when it really wouldn't have even been a huge problem to start with if we would have thrown some water on it instead of the gasoline. So I think you just have to really be aware and know that people are either an asset or a liability. And it's up to you to decide how close they will be to you. Right? Because there's tons of people in the world. I mean, you can't just like block yourself off from everybody. How neat would that be? But we can't do that. And so, right, because I don't want angry, mean people in my life. I'm sure nobody else does either, right? So I think what we have to do is we just have to realize, what, if they have water or gasoline, which one they're going to use on that problem, and then make sure that, just make sure how close they are to you. Are they part of your inner circle or not?
Absolutely. And another point, Cheryl, is, and this is one I really love. It's looking for people to put in your inner circle so there's 2 types of people. There's lifters and leaners. And, I just love those 2 words, because we're looking for people who lift. You know, we're not looking for leaners, and we know a lot of leaners in the world. So, yeah, I love the word lift. I'm a lid lifter. That's my job title. And I want to make everyone a little bit better than they were yesterday.
I love that, Paul. So in the end, it's just about this. So you need an inner circle of 12, right? 4 will be outstanding, 4 will be great, and 4 will be good, right? So that's really what it is. So 4 will be outstanding. And I think that Paul and I were talking about this a while ago, and how most of the network marketers out there really have 4 great people, right? They have 4 great leaders in their inner circle that have most of the volume in their different groups. So, which I thought was really interesting, because I really did not know that. So that's really the law of attraction that works, that you should attract 12 people into your life, right? And then, like we said, 4 will be outstanding, 4 will be great, and 4 will be good.
Yeah, absolutely. And to me, Cheryl, that just, I don't know, kind of puts my mind at ease, you know, and as you just said, now Cheryl's part of Eric Worre's $1 Million Hall of Fame group, or whatever, you know, honorees. And again, as Cheryl mentioned, Eric interviewed all the people in the group, everyone in network marketing that was making $1 million or more a year. And like you said, Cheryl, there's 4. The average person had 4 people they could point to that really contributed to all their success. So when you think about it, I got to find 4 people, and there's like, you know, billions of people on the planet. I mean, it doesn't, you know, it just seems like this is simple, but it's simple, but you got to focus on it. If you don't focus on it and you focus on all these other little things, it's never going to happen.
Yeah. And I think if you do put the focus out there and the intention out there, then the people will come. Absolutely. Because sometimes it can get overwhelming, and you're like, well, where on earth am I going to find 12 great people? But if you put the intention out there, they will be attracted to you. They will come, and you will find them. So Paul, let's talk about our homework. We always like homework.
Oh, yeah. We're really a fan favorite. Now, for sure, we're not going to be invited next month to come back, because we're giving out homework now. So yeah, this, you know, what we want you to, you know, to take away some value from this and actually apply it to your life. Don't just come to these daily dose calls and, you know, listen in and not doing anything. So number one thing you got to do is you got to actually make a list of who's in your inner circle right now. So maybe there's only 2 or 3 people, you know, maybe you got 20 people, which we need to kind of sort through. Now, what we do, and this is something I literally do with people, and this is all out of love. We're always here to help people get better, but we want to rate people on a scale from 1 to 10 with their leadership lead. Where are you at as far as a leader goes? And you can look at your inner circle. Let's say you got 10 people, and they're all, you know, 5s. Obviously, the average would be 5 then, you know, and that's sort of where your inner circle score is at, is a 5. You know, most of the time there's some 7, 8s, and 9s in there, and then there's some lower people. So, you know, but you want that average to continue to go up, and asking yourself, okay, I got this person on my team. We've talked and we established that they're like a 6 as far as leadership goes. What can we do today to get you to a 7? You know, what can we do to raise that lid? And all of the strategies to doing that is found in this book, The 21 Laws of Leadership. So that's step number 1. Number 2 is to score yourself on this law, which basically I just explained, which is taking the average of your inner circle members and making that your score. So Cheryl, give us some questions to think about as we close out this call.
Yeah. Okay. So you guys, as you are looking for the 12, here's some questions that you want to think about. So are you strategic and highly selective about which people are closest to you personally and professionally? Super. And I love that it said personally too, because I think that is just as important. Number 2, do you regularly rely on key people in your life to help accomplish your goals? And I love that, because I've always been kind of a I'll do it myself type of gal. So it's really great to have, you know, other people there to help and to it's not even to help, but it's really to communicate with and to build together is the way I like to look at it now.
This next one's an awesome one.
Yeah, do it, Paul, because I really like this one. And think about this. When he asks you the question, you have to really think about this, because this is really interesting.
Yeah, it really is. So do you believe that 50% or more of the credit for your accomplishments goes to the people on your team. And like Cheryl just said, most of your life, Cheryl, you had a job and you were responsible yourself for 100%. So you would have answered no most of your life or growing up. And then to have this massive shift where you've built this inner circle. And now, because when I asked Cheryl this question yesterday, she's like, 50%. That I meant 98%. What do you mean 50%?
98% goes to everybody else because I really believe that.
It's an exact shift, in the numbers. So
yes,
that's a great question to ask though, because I just meet again a lot of people who are doing it all themselves, and they're just like, well, it's going to be, it's up to me. That is the worst quote ever. The worst. I mean, and it's just, you'll never go anywhere because one's too small of a number to create something great. So we want to leave you with some books to read. There's a book I love. It's called The 17 Indispensable Laws of Teamwork. So how you can really get your inner circle to work as a team. There's also a book, The 17 Essential Qualities of a Team Player. So if you're thinking about, well, what qualities am I looking for in people in my inner circle? There's 17 qualities that John points out in that book. A little small book. It's super easy read, and it's very powerful. I can't recommend enough getting it. And finally, there's a book that I read called Teamwork Makes the Dream Work. And it really, really dives into this inner circle concept that there's just no way you can make your dream work without building a team around you of 12 great people. Yeah. So really spend some time mastering these 21 laws, become a stronger leader. We have a podcast. This was actually episode number 107, Cheryl, is it?
Yeah.
So we're at 107. So we have a lot of podcasts. Go to elevateyourlife.com. You can see all of our podcasts there and use that as personal growth. And we encourage you, this was chapter 11. So if you have not read that in the book yet, we encourage you to do that. And also to read chapter 12, which is the law of empowerment that we're going to do next Thursday as a podcast. And that law states, Cheryl, that only secure leaders give power to others, which fits right into this inner circle thing, because a lot of people just don't build this inner circle because they're not secure in themselves and they don't want to give any power to anybody else and make it sound like other people are outshining them or something.
That is so interesting. I would love to just sit at the back of the room and clap. That would be like my favorite thing on earth to do. I mean, that would be so awesome for me. But you guys, I just want to end with this. If you want to increase your capacity and maximize your potential as a leader, your first step is always to become the best leader that you can be. And we talked a little bit about that earlier. The next is to surround yourself with the best leaders that you can possibly find. And then never forget that a leader's potential is determined by those closest to him. And I love that, Paul. It's just really, it's such an eye opener to me, and I think so many people, so many women that I've met, I guess, really believe that, hey, listen, if it's going to happen, I'm going to be doing it. Right. And so just to kind of have that shift and really it's like for the first time you can like kind of breathe a little bit, like, okay. And it feels like a whole, a lot of weight's been lifted off your shoulders because, you've got other people that you can talk to and that you can, and that you can really learn and grow with, and you can do things together, which has been a huge, huge, huge shift for me. So, and I've been so blessed by it.
Yeah. It's been incredible. So we want everyone to learn this law and really practice it. So in closing, to elevate your life, you must focus on building an inner circle of 12 strong leaders.
Yes. And that will allow you to go from fine to fabulous.
Awesome. Thanks, Linda.
Great. That was great. That was amazing. Thank you so much, Cheryl. Thank you, Paul. Wow. So powerful. What great tips to elevate your life so you can go from fine to fabulous, as Cheryl always says. I love it. And just thank you for, giving us principles that can, help us really embrace other people, that makes you a great leader, to, put your, to give them the credit, to allow them to shine. That doesn't take anything away from your light when you allow other people on your team to shine, and that you elevate them so that they can really have a, what is happening? I don't know what's happening. What? Okay. Yeah. Can you like mute yourself, girl? Oh my Lord. Okay, so y'all, that is she's a young girl that I mentor, and I made her get on and listen to you guys. And so I don't know if she even knows what she's doing right now, but I made her get on. She's like, who are these people? I said, you just listen to them. They're going to teach you something. She's 12 years old. Her name is Sade. And so
No, it's not.
Oh,
yes, it is. Oh my God. Okay.
that's great that she's on, Linda. That's awesome.
I know. So I made her get on to listen. She's like, who are these people? I said, just listen. Stop texting me. Just listen to them. And this is the first time I've had her get on and listen to somebody on the Zoom. I didn't know she was going to cut up. But I said, no, you need to listen to Cheryl and Paul. They're going to teach you something. So once I get off here, I'm going to call her and say, tell me one thing you learned.
Okay.
So she's 12 years old and she's an amazing young girl. She starts school on Monday. Congratulations, Sade, big 7th grader. And she's doing awesome things, but I wanted her to hear you all speak because you all are two of the most influential leaders that I know. And I always get something out of what you share, and it blesses my life. And so thank you for sharing with Sade. Thank you for cutting up on my Zoom, Sade. I had to introduce you, but I love you, Cheryl. I love you, Paul. Thank you all so much for joining us. Hey, One Star is with Steve Wallach, our CEO, because there's big things happening. Launch date for trading is September 1st. So if you guys want to get more information about that, just check it out. But don't forget, hey, elevate your life, elevate who you are. Subscribe to Cheryl. What is your podcast? You said the name, but you said it so fast.
Yeah, so it's just at elevateyourlife.com.
Oh, elevateyourlife.com. Go and subscribe to their podcast. Get on their trainings. We get emails all the time about great leadership principles that they're always sharing with us. So you need to subscribe to that because guess what? As Jim, I believe it was Jim Rohn or Zig Ziglar that said, if you're not growing, you're dying. We need to grow ourselves every single day. So I love you guys. I'm going to unmute the Zoom. Please give it up for the extraordinarily awesome, phenomenally wonderful Cheryl Morley and the fantastically incredible superstar himself, Paul Croto. Have a great day, everybody.
Thanks, Cheryl.
Thank you so much.
Thank
Great
you.
call, guys.
Thank you, Cheryl. Thank you,
Paul. Thank you,
Paul.
Cheryl.
All are
Awesome, Paul and
amazing. Thank you
Cheryl.
so much.
Thanks, Linda.
Thank you.
Thank you, Paul and
Hey,
Cheryl.
take my
This
picture
call
down.
was phenomenal. Welcome, Sade.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you, Paul. Thank you, Cheryl. You all rock. Amazing leaders.
Yes, you
Yes.
are.
Reggie, we see you
Bye,
traveling,
you guys. Thank you.
champion.
Have
Be
a great
safe.
day.
Sending traveling
call,
message
guys.
your way.
Oh my gosh.
Thank
See,
you,
this is
Andre.
why we
Go,
don't let
Coach
children
Rod.
do stuff. They come and cut up.
That's okay. That's how they learn.
I guess
Thank you,
she
Paul and
said
Cheryl.
that'll teach you a lesson to
Thank you,
invite me to
Andrea.
anything.
That's okay.
Thank
That's
you,
how
Auntie
she'll
Kat.
learn.
Queen
Thank
Mary's in the
you.
house.
Carmen, Queen,
Good
Mary,
morning,
the
beautiful.
power.
Thank you. Thank you.
Love y'all.
Welcome.
Love
Good
you
morning,
too.
Christy.
God
Bringing
bless
us that
Good
sunshine.
morning. I love you, ladies. Thank you so
We
much.
love you too.
Love
Thank you. Bye.
y'all. Have a blessed and wonderful day, superstars.
You too.
Yes, make it a great day. We love each and every one of you.
Shauna, Beverly,
Thank you.
Delwyn, Auntie Pat, Catherine, Bobby Knight,
Hi.
Vernita,
Auntie Pat's in the house.
Howard Taylor,
Yes,
the
ma'am. Just
super
got back
incredible
last night.
Tony,
Oh.
Breland,
Oh,
Christy,
Glad you're
welcome,
back.
superstar.
Thank
We love you too, Linda. Glad you are. Have a blessed
Happy
day,
healthy
everyone.
hour tonight.
Yes.
The happy healthy hour
Happy
is
healthy hour tonight.
8:30 Eastern, 7:30 Central.
All right, we love you, superstars.